Great change does not always begin with great actions. Most of the time it begins with something small, almost invisible. A single step, a simple effort, a quiet choice to grow a little better today than yesterday. Stoic philosophy reminds us that progress is not about sudden leaps but about steady, patient practice. When you commit to just 1% daily improvement, you plant the seeds of transformation. What feels small today becomes extraordinary tomorrow. Greatness is built one day at a time. Small daily gains may seem insignificant, but over time they turn into extraordinary results. Many people chase giant victories and expect overnight transformation, yet life rarely works that way. A person who improves just a little each day will, in time, surpass the one who waits for big leaps. Stoicism teaches us to value steady effort over empty dreams. Marcus Aurelius wrote of focusing only on what is in front of us, one action at a time, done well. Each small action is like a drop of water filling a jar. At first it seems slow, but eventually the jar overflows. The same is true for growth. When you commit to improving by even 1% daily, whether in wisdom, discipline, or character, you create a compounding force. The gains stack and the results multiply. What was once tiny becomes great. The Stoics knew that character is not built in a day. It is shaped through countless small acts of virtue. Choosing patience in one moment, courage in another, kindness in another. All of these build a stronger self over time. Small daily gains are powerful because they demand little, yet deliver much. They teach us that success is not luck or chance, but the natural reward of steady work. By respecting each small effort, you respect the process of life itself. Greatness grows not from rushing, but from planting daily seeds and allowing time to do the rest. Aiming for 1% better each day is more powerful than chasing massive leaps. Many people wait for the perfect moment to make a grand change. They set huge goals, start with intensity, and quickly burn out. But Stoicism reminds us that virtue is built in small, consistent steps. Epictetus taught that excellence is not achieved in a single act, but through repeated practice. 1% seems small, but it is steady. It does not overwhelm. It is progress you can carry forward every day. Big leaps are fragile. They depend on motivation, which often fades. But 1% daily growth builds habit, and habit endures even when motivation is gone. Imagine trying to climb a mountain in one jump. It is impossible. But one step at a time, the summit becomes reachable. Life is the same. One act of discipline, one moment of patience, one choice of wisdom adds up. In time, those small improvements outshine the person who tried to change everything at once. The power of 1% is in its sustainability. It does not demand perfection, it only asks for effort. Stoicism teaches that what matters is what we can control now, in this moment. And in this moment we can always improve by a little. That little is enough, for when multiplied by days, months, and years, it becomes greatness. The lesson is simple. Do not chase dramatic change. Instead, honor the quiet force of 1% daily growth. It is stronger than any leap, for it lasts. Consistency is more powerful than intensity when it comes to lasting progress. Many begin with fiery energy, only to lose momentum when challenges arise. But the Stoics taught that true strength lies in steadiness. Seneca wrote that the greatest victories are won not in bursts but in perseverance. Intensity may bring quick results, but it fades like fire without fuel. Consistency, however, builds roots that endure storms. 1% daily improvement embodies this principle. It is not about doing everything today. It is about doing something today and tomorrow and the next day. Consistency turns actions into habits, and habits into character. Intensity depends on mood, but consistency depends on commitment. The Stoics believe that we should live according to reason, not emotion. Emotion rises and falls, but reason guides us steadily. Consistency is the fruit of reason. It is the choice to keep showing up, even when excitement fades. Think of a tree that grows slowly, adding only a small ring each year. Over time it becomes mighty, unshakable. That is the power of consistency. 1% daily effort may not seem dramatic, but it outlasts the strongest bursts of unsustainable intensity. In every part of life, whether learning, discipline, or self-mastery, the quiet force of consistency wins. To live as a Stoic is to choose the steady path where progress may be slow but is certain. And certainty built day by day leads to strength no storm can break. Tiny habits are the seeds of massive success stories. Every great philosopher, leader, or thinker began with small acts that were repeated until they became natural. Stoicism itself is a philosophy of practice. Marcus Aurelius wrote daily notes to himself. Not great essays for the world, but small reminders to live with virtue. Over time, those reminders shaped his character and became the wisdom we admire today. Tiny habits matter because they shape who we become without overwhelming us. A habit as simple as rising early, reflecting each night, or practicing gratitude daily may seem small, but each act builds the architecture of the soul. Small habits lead to discipline, and discipline leads to mastery. Epictetus told his students to start with the smallest things, controlling desire, mastering speech, guiding thoughts, because from these small acts, strength is built. Greatness is not created in a single event, but through thousands of invisible actions. The world often praises the grand achievements but overlooks the humble practices that made them possible. Yet Stoicism reminds us that the small is never wasted. Each action is a brick, and one brick laid daily will eventually build a fortress. To create lasting success, you do not need dramatic change. You need small habits faithfully repeated until they become part of your nature. Over time, they create a life of strength, wisdom, and peace. Tiny habits are not small at all. They are the foundation of greatness. Effort does not vanish. It compounds. Just as money grows with interest, small daily improvements grow into extraordinary progress. This is the power of the compound effect. At first, it feels invisible. The progress is too small to notice, but over months and years, the results are undeniable. Stoicism teaches that nothing worthwhile comes quickly. Patience and perseverance transform small acts into great change. Seneca spoke of time as the most precious resource, and how we must use it wisely. 1% daily improvement is the perfect use of time because it multiplies. Each effort builds on the last, making tomorrow's growth easier and stronger. The compound effect is slow to reveal itself, but once it does, it feels unstoppable. A person who commits to small growth daily will look back in a year and see they are unrecognizable compared to their past self. The Stoics knew that excellence was the fruit of repeated acts of virtue. You cannot become wise in a day, but each reflection, each discipline, each moment of courage compounds into wisdom. The compound effect reminds us that progress is not wasted, even when unseen. Every effort matters. Nothing is lost. Life rewards the one who endures with small acts patiently until the results appear. To live by this principle is to honor both time and effort, knowing that the small becomes great if you simply keep going. Progress often feels invisible day by day, but it becomes undeniable when seen over the years. This is the quiet truth that many forget. We want results now, we want transformation to be instant. But Stoicism reminds us that nature itself works slowly. A tree grows quietly, a river carves stone over centuries, and a life of virtue is built one act at a time. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself not to rush, but to trust the process. 1% daily improvement works the same way. Today's effort may feel like nothing. Tomorrow's effort may feel the same. But over months, the growth is visible. Over years, it is life-changing. The invisibility of daily progress can be discouraging, but the Stoics teach us to measure life not by immediate results but by steady direction. Progress is not about speed, it is about trajectory. Even if the steps are small, if they are forward, they are powerful. By trusting the unseen process, we learn patience. By continuing the work, even when the results are invisible, we prove discipline. And then in time, the results reveal themselves. The person who kept improving 1% daily becomes stronger, calmer, wiser, and freer. What once seemed invisible becomes clear. Progress was happening all along. We simply needed patience to see it. Improving by 1% daily builds a kind of discipline that cannot be broken. Discipline is not forged by dramatic acts, but by steady practice. Each time you show up for small improvement, you strengthen the muscle of consistency. Stoicism teaches that discipline is freedom, the ability to guide yourself by reason rather than impulse. Epictetus told his students that if they wish to improve, they must be willing to practice small acts of self-control daily. Over time, those acts would build strength that could withstand anything. 1% daily improvement may look small, but it builds unshakable discipline. Each small action proves to yourself that you can commit. Each small victory strengthens the habit of persistence. This kind of discipline does not depend on motivation, which comes and goes. It depends on choice, repeated until it becomes character. And once discipline becomes part of who you are, it cannot easily be broken. You become steady in storms, calm in chaos, and resilient in hardship. The Stoics believed that self-mastery is the highest power. 1% daily growth is the practical path to that mastery. Each day you practice, you strengthen the walls of discipline until they are unshakable, and within those walls you find freedom. True success is born from patience and persistence. The world may celebrate speed, but Stoicism values endurance. The Stoics knew that what comes quickly also leaves quickly. Epictetus urged his students to trust the long road, for only what is built over time lasts. 1% daily improvement is the path of patience. It asks you not to rush, but to persist. It asks you not to demand instant results, but to trust in steady growth. Patience allows progress to unfold naturally. Persistence ensures it continues even when results are slow. Together, they form the essence of success. Life will test you with delays, setbacks, and disappointments. Without patience, you quit. Without persistence, you give up. But with both, you endure, and endurance always leads to strength. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control how fast results come, but we can control how steady our efforts are. By choosing persistence, you win over time. By practicing patience, you remain calm in waiting. And with 1% daily improvement, patience and persistence combine to create success that is certain. It may not arrive quickly, but it will arrive surely. That is the Stoic path. Steady, calm, enduring, and victorious in the end. Small wins are powerful because they create momentum. Each day you succeed in a little way, you build confidence. Each small victory proves to yourself that growth is possible. This momentum multiplies, carrying you forward with energy and belief. The Stoics understood this principle well. Marcus Aurelius wrote about taking one step at a time, and how those steps, once taken, bring strength for the next. Small wins may seem minor, but they create a chain reaction. One disciplined choice today makes the next one easier tomorrow. Success builds on success. Over time, the momentum becomes unstoppable. 1% daily improvement works exactly this way. Each small gain fuels the next. Each small act of courage inspires another. And eventually, what began as tiny wins becomes a wave of strength and confidence. The Stoics remind us that great achievements are not built on one act, but on countless small acts linked together. The momentum of small wins is a hidden force. It keeps us going even when motivation fades. It reminds us that we are capable, strong, and improving. With each small win, the path forward becomes lighter, and the journey becomes unstoppable. Every great achievement in history began with a small start. Nothing grand is born complete. Every structure begins with a single brick. Every book begins with a single word. Every journey begins with a single step. Stoicism teaches us not to despise small beginnings. Marcus Aurelius urged himself to act simply, to start now, to do the work at hand without delay. 1% daily improvement is this principle in action. Every great achievement starts today, with the small effort you choose to make. Waiting for the perfect moment or for grand inspiration is a trap. The perfect time is now, and the perfect act is small. Each 1% you add today is the foundation of tomorrow's greatness. The Stoics believe that life is built moment by moment. Virtue is practiced in small choices. Strength is forged in small acts. And every achievement, whether wisdom, peace, or mastery, begins with a single decision to start. The path is never dramatic at the beginning, but if you stay with it, the results are breathtaking. Do not look for greatness tomorrow. Build it today with the 1% you can give. That is the way all greatness is born.